A new kind of tension is building in the tech world, the kind that spreads quietly at first, and then suddenly snaps into focus when you realize a major shift is about to drop. Samsung hasn't just been experimenting. They've been hiding something bold, something that bends expectations twice over. And the moment people see the real thing, it's going to reset everything we thought we understood about phone design. Welcome back, viewers. Sam here. Like, share, and subscribe for more! Samsung's upcoming triple folding phone isn't just another chapter in the foldable story. It's the plot twist brands hoped you'd never notice. And the part that's shaking everyone up. It might land at a price far lower than anyone predicted just weeks ago. Fans were bracing themselves for a wallet-breaking 3,000 Zalozen tag, but now insiders are suggesting something noticeably less brutal. The latest whispers point to around $2,499, which still isn't cheap by any stretch, but it's enough to jolt the conversation. It drops the device into a strange, sweet spot, expensive enough to feel elite, yet just within reach for early adopters ready to flex something futuristic. That price also positions Samsung in a clever spot. Huawei's own triple folding Mate X-T launched at about $2,800, and the rumored iPhone Fold is supposedly hovering near $2,399, but that one bends only once. So Samsung's message is clear: double the folds, just slightly above the competition's experimental pricing. It's a bold play, and the fact that this information apparently came from an internal sales communication adds just enough spice to make it believable, even if Samsung hasn't officially stamped it yet. The even bigger twist is how quietly Samsung has treated this entire product. The Galaxy Z trifold, or whatever name they finalize, has already been shown behind closed glass at an event in Korea. No touching, no playing with the hinges, not even a quick swipe on the cover screen. Just a silent preview, guarded like a prototype that wasn't supposed to escape. And yet the leaks kept rolling, and the curiosity kept building. Something about seeing a phone folded in 3 sections makes your brain stop for a second. Almost like witnessing the next evolutionary step before it's ready to walk. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. Samsung isn't launching this device everywhere. Not even close. Only a select group of countries will get the first wave, and that instantly sparked questions. Does Samsung lack confidence in their biggest hardware gamble in years? After all, they've dominated foldables for more than half a decade. Shouldn't they be the ones comfortable enough to go global? That's the easy assumption, but the reality is far more complicated and way more interesting. A triple foldable isn't just a bigger foldable, it's a different animal altogether. With 2 hinges working simultaneously, 3 display segments, synchronized folding tension, and a layer-over-layer closing pattern, the engineering risk is massive. Samsung cannot afford anything that even smells like the original Galaxy Fold launch fiasco, when early units snapped, peeled, and dented their reputation in days. So instead of repeating history, they're playing it smart. Tighter control, smaller regions, strategic testing grounds, and limited run sizes make sure support centers aren't overwhelmed and manufacturing yields don't choke under demand they can't fulfill. And speaking of demand, the hype cycle kicked into overdrive when insiders hinted at a December 5 reveal. That's when the Galaxy Z trifold is expected to finally step out of the shadows. The leaked specs sound almost unreal: a spacious 10-inch inner canvas paired with a comfortable 6.5-inch outer display, giving you a proper phone experience on the outside and a full tablet inside. For now, the United States is the only confirmed Western market getting it at launch. Carriers will sell locked versions as usual, but an unlocked model is now confirmed too. A detail that arrived surprisingly late in the testing process. That delay raised a few eyebrows, but it also lines up with Samsung's tendency to test certain features internally before letting firmware numbers leak into public trackers. The closer we get to launch, the clearer the picture becomes. Trusted sources like Avon Blass have claimed Samsung has finally locked the name, the dimensions, and the brightness numbers. The outer screen reportedly reaches up to a blazing 600 nits, while the inner display hits around 600 nits. A huge deal for media consumption outdoors. The battery, according to updated info, comes in at a combined 437 mAh across multiple cells split throughout the folding segments. Not the previously rumored 600 mAh, but still impressive considering the mechanical complexity packed inside. Now here's where things get wild. Samsung went in a completely different direction from Huawei. Instead of relying on one massive flexible panel, they split the displays, one outer panel and two inner sections, making the main screen far better protected when the phone shuts. It's a smarter approach that avoids the fragile exposed screen risk of Huawei's earlier designs. The bezels on Samsung's version seem a bit thicker, but honestly, for a first-gen trifold, it already feels way more practical than what anyone expected. When unfolded, the device is shockingly thin, roughly matching the slim footprint of the Z Fold 7. Closed, it reportedly sits around 1.2 to 1.5 cm thick, which is right in line with Samsung's current folds, despite having an extra display layer inside. The hinge mechanics are fascinating too. A G-shaped folding system with a tight right hinge and a slightly relaxed left hinge that lets the panels layer over each other without grinding or misalignment. It's the kind of detail you only appreciate when you've seen messy prototypes in the past and realize how much engineering it takes to make something this seamless. Flip it over and you get a triple camera setup nearly identical to Samsung's flagship foldables: a 200 megapixel main sensor, a 12 megapixel ultrawide, and a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto. Two punch-hole selfie cameras, one on the cover and one inside, complete the package. Up top you'll spot a speaker grill and three microphones for clearer audio capture, plus power and volume controls tucked neatly into the right edge. Under the hood, Samsung's expected to use last year's Snapdragon 8 Elite paired with at least 16 GB RAM. Maybe not the very newest chip, but still ridiculously powerful for a device doing this much mechanical juggling. And while the rumored 3,000 pricing floated earlier scared people off, limited production between 50,000 and 200,000 units helps explain why the number was so high. Early Galaxy Fold models started pricey too, and dropped quickly once scale kicked in. But the biggest shocker came from Bluetooth certifications. Early leaks said China and Korea only. Then we heard Singapore, Taiwan, UAE. People were ready to accept a regional-only release until model numbers ending in U and U1 suddenly appeared. That all but confirms something unexpected. Samsung isn't keeping this hyper-futuristic device locked away. They're taking it global, and possibly making themselves the first brand to launch a triple foldable worldwide. That alone is enough to change the narrative. Huawei may have landed first, but Samsung is aiming to land bigger. And the more we learn, the more this device starts to feel less like an experiment and more like the beginning of a new product category. With smarter hinges, protected panels, brighter screens, a huge tablet-level workspace, and flagship-grade cameras, Samsung is making a statement. Not just that they can build a trifold, but that they can build one worth owning. If this is the first chapter of triple foldables, the next few years are going to get wild. And trust me, we're just warming up. Stick around, subscribe, and drop a like if you enjoyed the breakdown, because the next leaks might be even crazier.